December, out training. Conditions today are horrible. Like, it's so wet and cold and windy. But so far, so good. Motivation is high. We just, signed the deal for next year, 2025. Back to full-time racing. It's so exciting.
And while it is exciting, reality has also entered the picture since it is different with a 5-month-old baby. I've had to approach training differently compared to the time I last raced because of Flora. And that's a good thing, but it also triggers my weaknesses because it is a challenge not to feel inadequate, both as a mom and as a pro racer. It is all about making compromises, which I haven't been forced to that much until now, I realize. But I do think that we came up with a good solution training-wise for the first couple of months.
It's Saturday morning in the little family. A beautiful morning, dare I say. And we're looking at a double stint today. One on the rollers, one outside. Business as usual.
So, for the first couple of months, the majority of training was done on the weekends when Thomas was at home, and with a lot of help from Thomas's mom during the week. Monday and Friday were rest days. Tuesday and Thursday on the indoor trainer with efforts, followed by strength training, and then one longer ride outside, kind of midweek. Weekends were tough, to be honest. We had a schedule where I split the training in two. I would either start on the indoor trainer for a couple of hours, breastfeed Flora and then head out for 2 more hours outside, or I would do both stints outside when the weather was good.
So, swifting, 35 minutes into the ride. I'm planning on another hour or so. I'm doing some sub-threshold intervals today, 20 minutes each. At the moment, I'm aiming for something around 265 watts in the intervals, and best thing, baby is still asleep. 1 effort or interval done, and 2 to go. Still 4 minutes break before hitting the next intensity block. But I just heard a few sounds from the crib. So yeah, well, I'll have to adjust accordingly to her sleeping pattern. Training with a baby her age, she's now 3.5 months almost, truly is the fine art of seeking opportunities. So I'll take whatever I can get in today. Baby girl woke up and new strategy. So I have been riding 1.5 hours now, and baby girl is not asleep. She started crying, so I paused the workout and got her into this little chair, wrapped her nice and warm, continued riding, and I think by now I only need to spin the legs a little bit. I am almost through the goal. I've almost reached the goal for today's training plan. It's a fine balance to accepting that her needs really comes first, and I know that I'm still doing a good job as a mom, but of course I'm always doubting myself and thinking, oh, am I good enough? Should I do differently and stuff? But she looks happy by now. She's well fed, so I think it's all good. It's a weekend. It means that kind of weekend is where I put in the most hours because Thomas is at home and can take care of baby girl who just absolutely shat herself. Sorry for my language, but everywhere. Nice present for dad. Meanwhile, I just had 1.5 day, like a lot of time on Swift. And now, well, for the last few hours that I'm planning on riding, I'm just not gonna do a Swift anymore. So I put on layers, and more layers. And I'm gonna go full neoprene shoe covers. First time that I'm testing those. They should be pretty good in wet conditions because it is absolutely pouring down outside. Like, the weather is so bad. Just looking out, I'm feeling a little bit intimidating, but I'm gonna give it a go.
We're on our way to visit my mom and her husband. The easy thing would be to stay at home. There's a point in practicing getting out of the house with her, even though it's not optimal, because it is going to be exactly what we'll be doing for the next year. So yeah, let's go visit Grandma. Yeah, so pouring down and 7 degrees Celsius. I still think it was a better option to go out on the Roubaix and do a few hours on the road for Annika instead of staying on the home trainer. Yeah, so we're just about there. It's a 15-minute ride at the most. The challenge really is that having gone from having colic to just being unhappy or unsatisfied, she is screaming like crazy. And it does trigger her parents' nervous system somewhat when they're hearing it. So the challenge is a little bit to not get too affected, try and calm her and get through it. And we do.
Now I am about an hour into my ride. I really wish I had this set up when I was riding 10-15 years ago because, well, it makes the winter training so much easier. I'm on my Roubaix bike. At the moment I have the Mondo tubeless tires. I set the tires up tubeless. It's so much better in conditions like we have here in Denmark because we have these sharp little rocks that keep you puncturing all the time. I think it's even 32 millimeter tires, so they are nice and comfy. I rode this bike at a gravel race just last weekend and I could easily fit, you need to pay a little bit of attention, but I could fit 42 millimeter Pathfinder tires on this bike as well. So there's some nice clearance in the frame. SRAM Explorer, won by electronic shifting for the win. No cables, no nothing, just super simple and smooth. And as for myself, well, I'm dressed up in layers and layers and layers. And these neoprene shoe covers really keep my feet nice and comfy, as well with the hands also neoprene. And I should keep on moving, not getting cold standing still.
We've also had to realize that stuff like shopping and cooking has to be reduced to an absolute minimum effort. And for us, the solution is to buy these dinner meal boxes that comes with the ingredients and recipes. There's no doubt we could do it cheaper ourselves, but like this, it requires very little mental effort to get cooking done in 20 minutes. Our next challenge is the January training camp. Actually, we're leaving for Spain in 2 days, and I'm going to ride with the team SD Works, which I really look forward to. But it's also a new experience to have to bring Flora and all the stuff that she needs. But people have done it before us, so there's a chance that we'll make it. But that means that the next vlog will be from, hopefully, sunny Spain and with some familiar faces.